emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Guy killer, I'm the X-Spot dealer. Hurricane King Kong, low-key Godzilla. Ain't no two niggas realer. Straight bars, no filler. One with COVID, I can't get much filler. These rappers is trash. Litter, they not popping shit like a bag. Trigger, a bag getter. I'll put a Birkin on body. I pop the trunk on Trump. I'm really unreal, nigga timing. You think I'm wild, but longer than silent. Made in America, so I love violence. When I go hunting, you better get hiding. I got a gun that's so big I can't hide it. Black John Wick, I don't need a switch. Me and my dog, I don't need a bitch. I don't obey the laws. Fuck who create the laws. Run up in the Oval Office, swarming, black garments. I'm not waiting for the purge, I want to start it. Don't get in my way, a dearly departed. Conspiracy harlot, I dig the damn, did the party. You tell the truth, you a target. Next come the gaslighting and stalking. I'll put my enemies in a coffin, guarding my energy like a fortress. I'm holding a grudge, I'm really a Taurus. American dreams, it's really a forest. No time, no so fuck corporate. We smoke until we forfeit. We high, we out this orbit. I'm ready to crash out, no foreign. Just put the White House on my coordinates. Bullets flying out of Fort Taurus, and we spin it back around like a chorus. He the guy killer, I'm the X-Spot dealer. Hurricane King Kong, low-key Godzilla. Ain't no two niggas realer. 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 Ain't no two niggas. Fly out, till the government about to die now. Revolutionary by the pound out. Motherfuckers better run to your hideout. Fly out, till the government about to die now. Revolutionary by the pound out. That's why they run into they hideout. Power nigga came back to the Bible niggas. I'm the motherfucking God killer. We the devil when the God nigga. So they come a beneficial day here, get the motherfucking chop nigga. Pop nigga. Drop a cop on the block, top nigga. Drop top to the pop nigga. They stop nigga. So they come a K-Ray for the strength for the motherfucking block nigga. I'm back, got mine intact. Click clack, those shots of the Cadillac. Blowing up in that track, these fans ain't ready for that. I don't think people ready for this. So wanna call me a terrible bitch. You gonna pay for your arrogance. Ain't even no evidence. I'm a diss in the great this government. Let go. Ride out, fly out. Till the government about to die now. Revolutionary by the wild out. Motherfuckers better run to the hide out. Ride out, fly out. Till the government about to die now. Revolutionary by the wild out. That's why they run into they hide out. Exterminate, I came in the silver fade. Never motherfucking fan today. Prepare to spray my artillery. You can't get sprayed your face. You wanna face your fate today. I hate to say it, bad to pray. Spoiler alert, you don't exist today. So bitch, decay, this the way. Revolution motherfucker gonna kill you up a bit today. This the play. Blow with the White House. Blow with the Pentagon. Hurricane be the name I'm finna die. Y'all niggas is lanes gonna get a job. So grab your gun, we finna ride. Every never been official with the pussy, really gotta ride out with the mission. The game go up, show up, even though that's good. I'm gonna get them ride out, fly out. Tell the government they about to die now. Revolution, everybody ride out. Motherfuckers better run to your hideout. Ride out, fly out. Tell the government they about to die now. Revolution, everybody ride out. That's why they run until they hide out. End of the line, gotta go across enemy lines. I'm feeling the vine, can't hit it, rip out the spine, and unalive everyone that lies. To the people, so we gotta ride, better decide right now. Or you gonna be dying, so they gonna be they want us divided. We gotta put together and defeat the towers. These motherfuckers gonna be silent, bitch, or violent. Fuck somebody, gonna give a motherfucker like they did the line. I put flow like a fire hydrant. Anime got a vibe about this. This is my life and vibe side, and I can hide it out of resistance. Take the defender is the only mission. Revolutionary, let's go position. Time to rearrange this whole dimension. Ride out, fly out. Tell the government they about to die now. Revolutionary about to ride out. Motherfuckers better run to the hideout. Ride out, fly out. Tell the government they about to die now. Revolutionary about to ride out. Motherfuckers better run to the hideout. Ride out, fly out. Tell the government they about to die now. Revolutionary about to ride out. Motherfuckers better run to the hideout. Ride out, fly out. Tell the government they about to die now. Revolutionary about to ride out. That's why they run until they hide out. We don't give a fuck. Tell the government, we don't give a fuck. Fuck, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, guys, peace family. I'm back again with a new video. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to exploit Christianity. And I've been listening to this dude now for a while. His name is Jiang Ankot and Tumor, Professor Jiang or something. And he's been breaking down the life of who Paul is, and how he mutated the message that so-called Jesus was giving them into the corporate system of Rome. You know what I'm saying? Because Paul himself was a Roman, okay, and as they did away with Jesus, Paul introduced itself, start to writing up a new Christianity, He started to change the sayings of Jesus into something else. But Paul, really, what he explains is that Paul was an agent, a special agent of the system, of the Roman system, you know what I'm saying? A Roman spy that used the vulnerability of so-called Jews, religion, to create their empire, to strengthen their empire, you know what I'm saying? Since the dudes were all fanatics and couldn't live with the story. So Paul decided to make it to work for the benefit of the Roman Empire. That's nothing to do with no God or nothing. And Paul was one established that faith comes by belief, salvation comes by belief in Jesus alone, and not by good works or nothing, or the finding the inner self and good works. Nothing. It's just belief. As long as you, because he said, since Jesus embedded all these characteristics, all they had to do is believe in Jesus. That's all he needed from them. That sparked confusion. That sparked wars. And the Jews were not happy. They wanted to get Paul. They wanted to kill his ass. But Paul was a Roman citizen. Nobody can touch him. You know what I'm saying? So from thence, Paul called a meeting with the Jews, and they came to some type of agreement, people. That's the only thing I see happening there. Because then Paul was allowed to tell whatever stories he wants, create his Christianity, you know what I'm saying? And that time he claimed that the Jewish was minority anyway, and he was least of his worries, you know what I'm saying? And that they couldn't fight the Roman Empire unless they subordinate to the Roman Empire, because the dudes were fanatics, yeah. And I'm not talking about the so-called the dudes that were saying they were Jews first, but the Romans that converted, and the Greeks and all these dudes, they were all fanatics, but they were not Romans. So Paul, as a Roman, because they were coming into descent with Rome, you know what I'm saying? Fights and wars and a lot of people dying, you know what I'm saying? So Paul told them, look guys, look at me, I'm a Roman, and I'm a Christian. I can teach anything I want, nobody touch me. If you guys want to be a Christian and nobody gonna touch you, you gotta be a Roman. You have to become a Roman citizen. You know what I'm saying? So they all converted to Roman, because even Jesus was killed because he was not a Roman citizen, it seems. Because the Roman citizens have the right of free trial, and the law is in their side, Jesus was not. He says that, Jesus was not even a Roman, so they just trash you and kill you. That's what's going on. Yeah, they were, these people, how they think, So Paul converted them and made them Roman citizens to the empire, and that's what Christianity is, okay? And it always has been like that. It can't work outside of the empires. Yeah, it's a religion that is powerless to fight the empire. That's why it was consumed, or it means it was internalized into the empire, because it can't fight the empire. So if you can fight them, you better join them. That was the formula of Paul. So they joined, the Roman Empire. But Christianity is nothing but the Roman Empire. The laws, everything is there is to protect the empire, not to protect nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So I've been listening to this dude for a while, you know what I'm saying? And the video is big, man. Is over 1.5 hours, and but I'm like 57 minutes away. And I was just thought I tell you this to you guys, man, to think about just how this religion started with Paul. Yeah, that Christian religion started with Paul, and Paul was an agent of the damn government. Let's go.
To Rome. And whether Paul realized it or not, whether he intended it or not, he was doing exactly what Roman imperial interests required. Now, let me be clear about what I'm arguing. I'm not saying every detail was planned. I'm not saying there was a memo from the emperor saying, go recruit this Paul guy and have him undermine Judaism. Intelligence operations don't work that way. What I'm saying is Paul had connections to Roman power at the highest levels. His family had wealth and citizenship. He had access to military protection whenever he needed it. He had authority that no ordinary person would have. And the message he preached served Roman interests perfectly. It neutralized the most dangerous threat Rome faced.
So Paul was a high-ranking officer, people, for the Romans, and their own Bible tells them that. So everything is there. How he didn't get scrutinized and how he didn't get killed by the Jews because he was a Roman citizen of high caliber. Let's go.
Turned potential rebels into peaceful citizens. It transformed a movement that could have ignited empire-wide Jewish revolt into a religion of personal salvation that taught submission to earthly authority. Whether Paul was consciously working as an asset or whether he was an unwitting tool, the result was the same. Now, there were enormous consequences from what Paul did. He radically changed the meaning of faith and religion itself. Before Paul, faith meant lived experience. Faith meant your relationship with the divine that you cultivated through practice, through study, through ethical living. Faith was something you experienced directly. But Paul introduced a new concept. Faith became belief. Faith became accepting certain propositional claims.
So, you see, this is what they've been up to, changing words' meanings, creating new prisons in their mind, after converting them, after making them citizens. You have to understand that, you know, these are people that been manipulated all the way from the beginning, yeah, by the empire, using clowns like Paul. Yeah, he was not a clown, he knew what he was doing very well, and this is why he was successful. Let's go.
Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus died for your sins. Jesus was resurrected. If you believe these things, you're saved. If you don't believe them, you're damned. This is radically different. This makes faith about creedal statements, about theological positions, not about lived spiritual experience. Paul also introduced the concept of miracles as explanatory devices. If something doesn't make logical sense, it's a miracle. How was Jesus born of a virgin? Miracle. How did Jesus walk on water? Miracle. How was Jesus resurrected? Miracle. The function of miracles in Paul's theology is to explain away contradictions and inconsistencies. Don't question the logical problems. Don't try to understand it rationally. Just accept it as miraculous. Another major innovation was elevating tradition above scripture. Paul's church, which eventually became the Catholic Church, taught that tradition, the teachings passed down through church authority, is more important than the Bible itself. In fact, for most of Christian history...
Now, if that don't tell you, man, that this is a government, that now these institutions that Paul created, artificially created people, will pass down the knowledge to the generations. And these are the same people that think that, you know, they own their country, they own their land, they you know, they think it's theirs, people. It's not. It belongs to the church from day one. Let's go.
People were not allowed to read the Bible. The Bible was kept in Latin, which most people didn't understand. Only priests could read it and interpret it. Because the church taught that if ordinary people read the Bible, they might misinterpret it. They don't have the spiritual authority to understand it correctly. So religious truth comes not from direct study of sacred texts, but from submission to church authority. The church tells you what to believe, and you believe it, that's faith. All of these innovations serve institutional power. They make religion about control, about hierarchy, about obedience to authority, rather than about direct spiritual experience.
So, just think about all of this what you just said, people. Yeah, it tells you a lot why your life is the way it is. Yeah, because it's your government that tells you everything you believe. And you have no internal map. You have no internal introspection into your inner self, into your inner role, into your inner interpretation of the role that you live. Therefore, you can't manifest anything in such a role. You live by faith. That's what Paul turned you into, a faith animal that don't know his inner self and is at the mercy of regurgitated information of these churches, these institutions they call government, that they give them. That's where the power of God comes from thence. And they killed their inner God's people. These people are living in an illusion, like I explained to you in my channel. Okay, they want to hate me. They don't want to share my videos. Yeah, they want to hate everybody. They jealousy. They ignorant because their God made them ignorant from day one, and the church made them ignorant again using Paul. Yeah, Paul, what he did, he wrapped them up with the government. He destroyed their spiritual understanding that Jesus gave them first, because Jesus never told them to worship no damn governments. Yeah, or any gods outside of them. And I showed them before in my videos, and there's even scriptures showing that these motherfuckers, Jesus told them, yeah, to find their inner self, and that God lives within themselves. Jesus himself told them that. But then you have Paul telling them otherwise, that no, you are dumb, just like Yahweh told them, you are a dumb. You have no power to be eating from the fruit of wisdom and knowledge. Hell no. You have to take from us. We're going to tell you what to do, what's right, what's wrong, and that's going to be your faith. That's going to be your God. That's going to be your obedience. You just obey. You were created to obey, not to think, not to know your inner self, not to fly spiritually. No, to be an obeying slave forever. Okay? And everything around you is being made in that description. That's why they tell you something and you do it. Your life is what they tell you. It has always been before we were born, and now they're still telling you what to do. Even doesn't matter how many mistakes they have, doesn't matter how many unrighteous things they do, yeah, you still always gonna support them, because they know that you have no knowledge and you're never gonna dig it yourself. You are their mercy. So that's where everybody's not the same. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to find that, you know, haters, because they don't know nothing, and then you're telling them something that they're against their God, that you're supposed to be telling them. You know, it's like, you know, you're telling people something that they don't know and were told not to know. To them, it seemed to have wisdom and knowledge. Just think about that. They're supposed to be dumb. Just think about that. If their God and their church tells them they're supposed to be dumb and they can only learn from them, the whole road that you see around you, it's that church they created that manifests that. This is why my videos is mostly about this religious stuff, because it's religion I see controlling everything. Yeah, I don't care about all these other derivatives that they created, because it all came from religion. It all belongs and are owned by them. Yeah, all these banks, all these medias, channels, all these TV channels, the whole propaganda machine is owned by the church. I'm not seeing no government or nothing. The government is owned by church. They all owned by church. Doesn't matter where you look. Yeah, the church is the creator of this reality, and it doesn't matter what country you go. Okay, I think some countries they're not dealing with the religious stuff, but very, like, probably you can count them with one hand. Yeah, you can count them with one. There ain't too many of them. Maybe 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? That are not dealing with no type of religion, and not just normal people that, you know, believe in themselves and the inner self, and that's how they live. The rest of them, the rest of the road, all pay tax to the church people. Even these ones that are alone, I believe they've been infiltrated. But because every research, everything goes back to Rome, people. And that's why they have that saying. It's not by accident. Yeah, it's not by accident. It's because it's real. And it doesn't matter how many churches you're going to create outside of Rome. They all follow the same path. The energy always will fight back to Rome, because Rome was one that created all of that. No matter what scheme you're trying to make up, a new god and this and that, it all came from Rome. Okay? Man worshipping gods all came from Rome. Before that, we were worshipping the God inside ourselves. Yeah, we know about the self. We know that we had to respect ourselves. We know that we had to respect nature in order to live long, in order to be healthy, in order to, you know, have a functional, natural life. Yeah. Now these dudes are all artificial shit. That from when they did this, and probably even before, they were already under the control of these entities. Yeah. That's why this religion shit came all from them. Don't think it's God wrote something. I already told you. All came from men. Yeah. And I show you the nature of Yahweh. And, you know, that we want that criminal. He's a criminal that killed billions of people on earth and still at it unpunished. And, you know, he needs to be banned. He needs to be arrested. He needs to be judged, because he's done too much harm to humanity. People, imagine all this time that Paul got them crucified in this curse. Yeah, of Christianity, because it is what it is. And how many people have lived and died in that lie, people, and think that their life was real, and the whole thing was a simulation. They lived all their lives in a simulation and died, and never knew that the whole thing was a paparazzi. The whole thing was run by criminals that were taking their energy and their money and their soul, basically, because they died without knowing no damn truth. Yeah, they were told, like what Paul told them, to lie to them, just tell them they have to believe in Jesus. That's the end of the faith, and that's all it takes. You don't need to be smart, you don't need to be clever, you don't need to think, you don't need to know the self, you don't need to help nobody, you don't need to create nothing new, you don't need to do nothing. All you need to do is believe in Jesus, live a life that we gave you, okay, work like a damn slave 24/7, pay your taxes to Rome, and let's go. That's what life is, and that's what all these people are doing still today, people. Nothing changed, people. That formula runs the whole entire world still, and people like us get punched to the back, blocked on YouTube, and hated by all these cowards. Let's go.
Address a question you might have. If Paul was controversial, if there were people who saw through what he was doing, then who wrote the Acts of the Apostles, which presents such a positive picture of Paul? Great question. We don't know for certain who wrote Acts, but we do know that whoever wrote Acts also wrote the Gospel of Luke. They're written by the same author in the same style as part 1 and part 2 of a continuous narrative. The Gospel of Luke was written sometime between 80 and 90 CE, which is about 50 to 60 years after Jesus' death. Paul might still have been alive at this time, or might have recently died. And Acts is very pro-Paul. It presents Paul in the most sympathetic light possible. It shows him as a heroic figure, persecuted by Jews, protected by Romans, spreading the faith despite hardships. Now, why would someone write this? Because at this time, there were many people, especially Jewish Christians, who hated Paul. They believed Paul had corrupted the teachings of Jesus. They believed Paul was a traitor who had sold out to Rome. And I believe that at this point in history, it was an open secret that Paul was working closely with the Roman Empire. He was either a collaborator or an intelligence asset. That's why he had so much protection. That's why he had so much power. That's why he could operate with impunity. So the Acts of the Apostles was written to clean up Paul's image, to make him seem like a legitimate religious figure rather than a Roman agent. To create a narrative where Paul's Roman connections were explained by his citizenship rather.
How are they clever and they create Acts of Apostles? Who the hell wrote this, people? You never questioned that? Rome, councils, and elite connections wrote all of the Acts of these apostles to brainwash and wash out all the BS that came with it. Let's go.
Than by his political role. We've seen this pattern throughout history. The Bible started as an apology for King David. It justified his seizure of power. Later texts justified other political arrangements. Acts is written to justify Paul and the church structure he created. If you read Acts with this in mind, the clues are everywhere. The way Paul is always protected by Romans. The way he has authority over Jewish leaders. The way he can summon people to meetings. The way he lives freely in Rome under guard, which sounds like protective custody, not imprisonment. These details don't make sense if Paul is just a religious teacher. They make.
Now you know where that word summons is coming from and how old it is. Paul was summoning these people to meetings, from Rome, because he was a Roman official. And like it means if a Roman official summoned you to a meeting, you better show your ass. If you don't, bad things are gonna come for you. The Romans will probably arrest you. You probably end up like Jesus for disobedience. and you know, they will cook something to get you out of the way, like you hate Rome or something. Yeah. So Rome, Paul was Rome that created the whole biblical context and created the new religion called Christianity that they run today. All right, and these dudes run Acts of Apostles to eliminate the possibility that the followers that not supposed to know anything anyway, so I don't know why they even bother to, you know, to clean, you know, to clean Paul and make him look like a proper prophet, like a proper apostle, to make him real. Let's go.
Perfect sense if Paul is working with Roman intelligence. Let me go deeper into what I think is Paul's most significant innovation. He redefined what the Messiah means, and in doing so, he neutralized the most dangerous element of Jewish belief. In traditional Jewish expectation, the Messiah is a political and military figure. He's descended from King David. He's anointed by God to restore the kingdom of Israel. He will gather the exiles. He will rebuild the temple.
Now, they allow them to relate this because that's what Paul was doing, relating Jesus with the Messiah. Yeah, to empower what? The believers? No. To empower Rome. You get it now? Let's go.
He will defeat Israel's enemies. He will establish God's rule on earth with Israel at the center. This is an inherently revolutionary political concept. The Messiah will overthrow foreign occupation. The Messiah will destroy Rome. And Jews were constantly claiming people were the Messiah. There were messianic movements all the time. Charismatic leaders would emerge claiming divine authority. They would gather followers. They would promise liberation. And Rome would crush them. But the movements kept appearing because the messianic hope was so powerful. It gave meaning to suffering. It promised that current injustice.
This is exactly what the Romans were smart, and they used it. Yeah, since the Jews were saying that, you know, the Messiah will destroy Rome, and the Jews will be the top, you know what I'm saying, of the pyramid, and so they thought, hold on, this is a very strong political analogy going on. We're gonna hack that. So they had to create Christianity and clone the Jewish religion with and take the Messiah, because, you know, the Messiah means the safety. Yeah, that Rome now, because it's Christian and believe in Jesus, and Jesus is the Messiah, which has all the authority of God, so they all safe. That's all they need. That's what Paul did. So they took it, he married it to Rome, and that's that. We Christians, we got God, and that's that. Messiah is with us. That's what's happening there. Let's go.
It guaranteed eventual victory. This made Jews impossible to pacify. You could destroy one messianic movement and another would emerge. You could kill one would-be Messiah and someone else would step up. The hope itself was the threat. Paul's solution was brilliant. He said the Messiah already came. He was Jesus. But Jesus wasn't a political or military figure. Jesus was a spiritual teacher. Jesus didn't come to overthrow Rome. Jesus came to save souls. And Jesus' crucifixion, which from a traditional perspective proved he wasn't the Messiah, because the Messiah is supposed to triumph, became in Paul's interpretation the whole point. You
see the confusion? The Messiah is not supposed to die. He's supposed to thrive and he's supposed to succeed. But not the one they gave them. Let's go.
Jesus had to die to accomplish his mission. The crucifixion wasn't a failure, it was the plan. And Jesus will return. Yes, there will be a second coming. But when he returns, it won't be to lead a military revolt against Rome. It will be to judge all souls and establish a spiritual kingdom. So what Paul does is take the messianic hope and completely spiritualize it. He disconnects it from political and military reality. He turns it into a story about individual salvation, about going to heaven after you die.
Okay, we're gonna stop, because the deeper you go, the more confusing it's gonna get for you guys. Yeah, but all I'm going to tell you to close this video that is going for a while is that Rome created your Bible, Rome created the 4 Gospels, Rome controls you and gave you your faith and everything you believe and everything you do. Okay, and it's Rome that owned the land, owned the laws, owned the government, owned everything. That's sad, man. If you're still in that church, yeah, and you still don't know all of that, you only have yourself to blame, because we've been telling you this now for a while. You know what I'm saying? And people get all emotional, but they don't get emotional with their government. That's sad, man. Love you all. Keep the instructions. Peace.
Fuck the 9 to 5, we gon' party on the clock. Being out the dash, she gon' party on the clock. Baby said she love me, but I know she can buy. The boss used to mean a fucking song that is hot. Now what it means, she's a motherfucking thot. That's a fucking definition. Put her in position. Smoking on the blood while I smash her in the kitchen. On another mission. Yeah, I'm going fishing. Bad chick, put her legs to the ceiling. Now I'm suited up like a James Bond villain. About to kill a government in 49 minutes. Smash me a chick about 35 minutes. Girl, I gotta go, gotta handle my business. Gotta fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking up the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking up the spot. Got a fire, baby.
Shouts out to everybody. Fuck it, let's jam.
Let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Dressed down slick, showing off her tits. Walking through the hood, seeing who she gonna pick. Baby, do the shit. Come on over here, smoking on the loud while I'm drinking on the beer. Told me the name, hopping in the range. See the storm coming, yeah, we fucking in the rain. Smoking on the flame, going to a rain. Fuck planet Earth, yeah, we doing another game. Hold up the liquor, roll up the swisher. Me and your bitch going down by the river. Like a power tool, hell yeah, I'm a driller. She like Futurama, told the bitch, call me Bender. Bricks in the fender, sell it like a winner. Sell it January all the way to December. With a bad chick, I'ma eat her up for dinner. Just got some weed, baby, hand me the swisher. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, if you smoking on the spot.